Welcome to Upwards. Thank you so much for connecting with us today. We are so honored and privileged once again to have on our show one of the greatest men within Oella. This is a small village that is sandwiched between Catonsville and Ellicott City. He has been here for more than 40 years. And out of his life, from his stay here in Oella, he has had a great impact on the lives of many men and women. Please, if this is your first time to be on this channel, I kindly ask you to click on subscribe so that every time we have new videos and new stories, you'll be the first one to know about it. Click the subscribe button just below the screen, and hey, throw in a comment. Let me know what are your comments about our friend and our great man guest that we have today, Mr. J. Patel. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you again.
You're welcome.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Such a pleasure.
It's all good.
It's all good. We've been working on this for a while now, sir.
I know. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I'm glad that finally
sir,
we have it running. Yeah.
Correct.
So who is J. Patel?
Well, originally born in India and then moved to Uganda in Africa in 1956 because my dad used to work there in sugar factory.
Right.
And then finished my elementary school and then did the senior high school and college back home in India.
Right.
Taking care of the grandparents of mine. My
So
dad.
you didn't school in Uganda, like your elementary, you did everything in India?
No, my elementary, primary, I did that. The
In
senior
Uganda.
high school.
Oh, senior high school, right.
From the grade 8 and up to
Yes.
12.
Yes.
That's in India, in college in India.
Right.
Because we had to go far away in Uganda.
Yeah.
If you want to go for senior high school, is in capital Kampala or Jinja.
Right.
That takes almost 2 hours of driving back and forth.
That's a long ride, yeah.
So we thought better go back to India and study there.
Yes.
Since Uganda got the independence on October 9th, 1962, it was time for me to have a change, and Uganda was coming up freely to independence,
Yes.
developing country.
Yes.
So it was nice for me to do it and then start all over in India, which was nice for high
Right.
school. Other than that, when I finished graduating in India in 1969, then I went back to Uganda
1969. Yes.
and applied for a job at the Uganda Aviation Service at Entebbe Airport.
Yes.
There were no openings, so that's fine. Worked in coffee farms in the meantime.
Yes.
6 months later, we had an opening for me, and I went and started working at the Entebbe Airport
Yes.
with Uganda Aviation.
Right.
In the meantime, something crazy happened, and Idi Amini took over the power and
Wow.
control
Wow.
while
Yeah.
President Obote was in Singapore.
That's when you
having-
overthrew the first president Obote. Yeah.
Right, first president.
Yes.
He was having a Commonwealth meeting, and Idi Amin toppled him. So later on, Idi Amin was getting crazy, and he got rid of all the Israelis first
Yeah.
for 30 days notice. And then the next chapter, after a month, he had a dream, and he said, oh, all the Indians and the British passport holders, non-citizen born here in this country, have to leave in 90 days.
Hmm.
That's what he said. His God told him in a dream.
Yeah.
So it was all panic. The whole world was getting panic and crazy.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people came and helped us out, starting from Australia to Canada to England, of course, and India.
Yeah.
And we started moving, packing. Except the professional people in Uganda, like school teachers, doctors,
Right.
engineers.
Most of them were actually foreigners at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people like us.
Yeah.
And we had to stay, but all the rest of them
Right.
had to go, pack up and go
Yeah.
in 90 days' time. So it was from August, September, October.
Yeah.
My father went to England. I could not go and join him at that time because I was over 21.
Yeah.
I'm no longer protected by the British protected passport.
According to the Commonwealth,
Right.
I think they had
Born in India and over
right.
21.
Yes, yes.
You are no more dependent to your parents. You are already adult on your way up.
Yes.
So anyway, so that was the story. But working with Idi Amini was crazy, and he killed his own people, like 300,000.
300,000 people. Because I remember when I read
Acholi
stories,
and
about Acholi. So it was
the
more
different
tribes.
tribe of Abote and Luguara.
Right.
He just started slaughtering them one by one. I don't know why, but he just didn't like the different kind of tribes. And they started attacking all the missionary, the church group. That was a crazy thing.
So he targeted the Christians at that time, or
Correct.
it was just...
Yes. All missionary was closed down. All Hindu temples were shut down. Everything. Anyway, that's not a problem. The major problem for me and my crew at the airport was my chief engineer's wife was captured and put it in the Entebbe River at the lake.
Thrown in the river?
Yeah, and told her to stand there for more than 24 hours in the cold weather.
Was she from India or?
She's from South Africa, but a British background.
Okay.
My engineer was a white man too, also from South Africa. So next day we decided to take a small aircraft Cessna and fly over to Kenya, Nairobi.
So you've been to Nairobi during that time?
Yes. Packed my things and took off.
Yeah.
And from there, went back to India.
Were there, because I remember from the history that I've read, there were many Indians who actually migrated to Kenya.
Correct.
And
they joined the business group.
Joined the business group.
Yeah.
But then there are most who also fled to other countries, maybe went back to India.
Mostly went to England.
England. How was it for you? Because by that time you're still very young.
I'm 21 plus young.
21 years old.
Yeah, just trying to get maturity and trying to learn a lot of things.
Yes.
Get more experience. So it was rough, but I had to go back to India anyway. My mother and other siblings were back home.
Okay.
So the idea was to get the visa done for them, proper passports, visa.
Right.
So they can go and join my dad in England.
Yes.
Before they turn 21.
Uh-huh.
So that was the main thing. My other brother was almost turning 21.
So your siblings seems to have been like closely following each other in terms of age.
Correct.
Okay.
So the one who was coming next to be 21 on August 8th, I had to make sure that all the visa, public application and everything was done, deal and over. He was there.
Yes.
I managed to get it done one day before the 21st birthday.
And all this time that you're doing these things, you're still very young, but very, very focused and very determined to make it happen in life.
Well, in Bombay, British Embassy, we had to get up in the morning at 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Get in line outside the British Embassy.
Right.
There are about 300 to 600 people every day trying to get visa to go to England. And that was a tough time for me to do it.
Right.
You can't go
I'm imagining you're young and looks like you're carrying the entire family. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait for 6 to 8 hours right in front of the embassy in Bombay until your time comes, the interview comes. You cannot leave the place. You cannot leave the spot. You got to wait for your turn. Anyway, after that, I didn't know what to do back home in India once they left to England. So I had a good friend from Malaysian Army military training in India.
Yes.
In my hometown, and they said, why don't you go to Malaysia,
Mm.
Penang, or go to Singapore, and you might get an opportunity to work on the
Yes.
aviation, what you know,
Mm.
as a aeronautic engineering. So I took a chance, took a round trip from India, Madras
Mm.
to Penang and then to Singapore,
Yeah.
which was good. 600 rupees is like nothing those days.
Right.
I was given $2 for my
Pocket money.
pocket money, foreign exchange. That time they didn't have much, so that was the only money I had.
$2.
Took a chance to go to Penang very first day and went to the airport to ask them if there was an opening or they can hire me or something. They said, since I'm not born there and I'm not citizen, I cannot be accepted as
You can't get
Malaysian
employment. Yes.
not in Malaysian army.
Mm.
Private aircraft or something you can do
Yes.
it. The next day the ship was leaving to Singapore, so I thought, let's go there and try there now.
Explore. Yeah.
Next morning after sleeping, having a nice good breakfast on the ship, which was already attached in my ticket price, so
Yes.
I'm full now. Got out of Singapore.
And this is from the $2.
Yeah, I still have that. I got to keep it. I got to save it for
Yes.
2 more days. I'm going to
Yes.
stay in
Yes.
Singapore.
Yes.
Don't know what I'm going to do, where I'm going to stay. But luckily by 10 o'clock I was at the airport, and the chief engineer of Singapore Aviation,
Mm.
he said, we got something for you to look into it and see if you can do it
Right.
in 48 hours. And I said, that's no problem.
Mm.
There was an aircraft DC-3, the radar was torn up, and he wanted me to fix it in 48 hours.
So the thing is, when you went to India, you actually did you did a course in engineering.
Correct.
That was
Before going to Uganda.
before going to Uganda, going back to Uganda.
Yeah.
This is aeronautics. How do you call it?
Aeronautic mechanic.
Aeronautic mechanic.
Master of mechanical engineer.
Master of mechanical engineering.
Aeronautic engineer.
Correct.
But then I had to work too in 2 years in my training in India, and after that I went
Right.
to Uganda.
Yes. Yes.
That was my first job over there anyway. So it was fun. I accepted the job and told them to give me the tools and everything, and stayed at the airport, got it done in 48 hours.
So when you landed to Singapore, you get this job, but you're not allowed to leave the airport. Is that correct?
Oh, I can leave, but only with $2. Where am I going to go and what am I going to do?
So you lived.
It's free. I can stay at the airport on the aircraft.
Where did you sleep? Where did you sleep?
Right in the same aircraft, the one I was working, so I can keep an eye
on things.
Back and forth, because Singapore is highly humidity and
yes,
weather-wise.
Yes.
And I had to make sure it dries up quick with the heat lamps. You have to move around, make sure the heat wave and weather doesn't attack the work which I did.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's not dripping all the glue at the bottom.
Right.
And you got to turn around and brush it up.
Just make sure that it's
10-15
smooth and in
times
order.
to make sure it's like a drum when it dries.
Mm-hmm.
We were ready early morning after 48 hours and took a flight for the test flight.
Mm-hmm.
My American pilot was very happy when we came back.
Yes.
After landing back, they hired me, so they said, give us a passport and we'll give you the permit to work permit to stay.
They just liked your job. You did something that, as per that time, they didn't know what to do with the aircraft.
Right. Nobody could do it.
Wow.
They had to hire somebody from here to go there, which cost money.
That was just timing for you.
My luck. Somebody up there.
He was taking care of you.
Well, I went back also to Singapore because of the ex-president. Aborte was in Singapore.
In Singapore, yes.
So the people of Singapore and the government of Singapore knows where I came from.
And they are sympathetic to,
That helps also.
Right.
To know where I'm coming from.
Yes.
But after that, I spent almost like 12 years back and forth, training with the new aircrafts and everything. Offshore drilling was going on big time in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
We used to supply we are the agent of the Bell helicopter, Textron, Cessna aircraft, Piper aircraft in the neighborhood countries.
Yes, yes, yes.
And everybody was developing that time. Thailand, Burma, we call Myanmar now, Malaysia, and also Sri Lanka, Indonesia.
So
So
all
all
these
the
countries were
Southeast
just
Asia
coming, yeah,
countries,
they're just coming
Vietnam,
up, yeah.
the war just ended, so it was a booming industry, and they needed people like me
Right.
too. So it helped me a lot in a different way. From $60 beginning of the salary every 2 weeks,
$60 every 2 weeks.
I
That
ended
was a
up
lot of money in the
right
early 70s, that is?
70s.
Late 70s, yeah.
Singapore became independent in 65
65, that's
when the British left.
that's 3 years after Uganda.
Yeah, and
And,
then I came.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was fun. And when I left, I was earning almost 2,400 Singapore dollars a month. I came here for training in 77 in Dallas, Texas for
Yes.
helicopters. Came back again in 79 to get my federal aviation license, FAA, which is valid for life, which I have it now. But in the meantime, I had an opportunity to look at my future wife. It was an arranged marriage by my sister.
Yeah.
So I happened to come from Washington, capital,
Yeah.
to Baltimore by bus. I had interview. We had a good brunch, lunch talk.
Yeah.
And her parents calls me up in the evening.
So when you're coming, that's when, from DC, that's when you're coming to meet her for the first time, never talked to her in any...
No.
Yeah.
I was in DC because of the aerospace
because of
museum.
your
My
assignment.
training,
Yes.
So I was close by. But it was fun. We had a brunch, lunch, and I went back to New York same night. Her parents calls me and says, well, my daughter likes you and you can come back. Your parents are happy and they have agreed to get married.
Just like that.
I said, I haven't even decided or thought of it. I said, well,
so they decided for you before you decided?
Well, he talked to my dad in England and they have already discussed. So
right.
I guess separately.
That's the Indian culture.
Right. While they were in England, I'm here. My sister came from Toronto to attend the wedding in the courthouse.
Yes. And that was here in Maryland?
There's another one in $2 US. Got married in Towson Courthouse.
Towson here in... Which year was this?
1979.
Wow.
October 16th. Good day. Nice weather. Stayed home.
Yes.
We prepared the food here at the house. He brought local friends. He used to work for the Pepsi company, a couple of Indian families.
Was she like already a citizen here? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Born here or they migrated here?
No, migrated from India.
Okay.
In 70 also.
Right.
When I migrated from Uganda to Singapore.
Malaysia, Singapore,
while she's
did all
migrating from India to England. Sorry, United States.
Yeah.
So it was a migration, but we ended up here finally in Baltimore. Started working with the forest fires in Oregon State, very first job.
Because before you came, you used to come only for business training in line with your work.
In the same helicopter.
Yeah. And you said the company that you worked for, was it an American company or Malay? Okay.
In
so
Oregon,
eventually
Portland.
Eventually they assign you here or you just got another job?
It just happened that way. I was not assigned. I resigned from my company in Singapore and I told them I'm coming back to US.
Okay.
I started looking here locally but didn't work out. But very first day after the immigration, when I came from New York to Baltimore, second night I had a job to do in Oregon for the forest fires.
Yes.
Without even calling. They knew where I was and where I situated. So
Because
I
your work was just excellent.
just took off and left again.
Hmm.
After the marriage of 2 years and break in between, I couldn't stay here. But it was fun. Worked there for 3 months. It was good money, $75 an hour. You can't beat it.
$75 an hour.
Good money.
Which year was this?
1970, 80,
$75 is a lot of money.
80.
It was a lot then. $75 an hour today is still a lot of money.
In 81, well, I came back after my, what do you call them, fire season is ending in October. So
Yes.
I had to take a break and come home. But when you work there, you work 7 days for 9 hours a day.
Mm.
Morning sunrise to sunset. But they give you 3 months extra advance salary after the job is done in October.
So they pay you the usual pay and then extra pay for...
3 months.
Is that to cover the winter season?
Winter season.
Okay.
Come back to Baltimore, I started working with the Radio Shack for $3 an hour.
Just a minute. That time you're earning from $60...
75.
No, from $60 in Singapore.
Right.
You come, you begin to earn, you start earning about $75. You are young. And what were you doing then? Because that's a lot of money. You moved from all of a sudden. I don't know how much Singapore...
Well, it took 12 years for me to...
12 years for you to migrate and now begin. So there's been progression.
Slowly, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It
That
takes
makes
time.
sense.
So it wasn't right away jumping.
Oh, that makes sense.
I had to get training. I had to get the license to make sure I get promotion
Makes sense.
one by one,
Makes
step
sense.
up.
Go ahead, yeah.
But it was fun, and following year they called me back again for the same job.
In Oregon.
Right.
Yes.
With a private company who hires me, and we have a contract with the U.S. Forest Service.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Forest Service pays to my company, and they pay me.
So an agency, yeah.
So it was a 6 month contract and done. But in the meantime, my son was getting born in September 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the middle of work over there in Oregon.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that I'm here but present in Baltimore with her, with my wife, and make sure everything goes good.
Right.
Before I resigned the job, I had to hire somebody to replace my work over there.
Yeah.
You cannot just take off and go away.
Sure.
Which I did week before he was born. And there we go. We started the life again now. I'm a father. She's a mother of good young boy.
How old is your son now?
He's 39.
That's a grown man. Yeah.
He's going to be 40 soon in September.
Awesome.
And he works in San Francisco. He got married actually on this last year, I should say, on a New Year's Eve.
Awesome.
In
Awesome.
Cape Town in South Africa.
So soon you'll be a grandpa or you already one?
I hope so. Will be soon, but I think they're going to take their sweet old time, the new generation.
Right.
Before they get too old, I'm sure they're going to have a
I'm sure they will.
family, and
Yeah.
that's what the whole intention is.
So when he's about to be born, you come to Baltimore, you come to Maryland.
Correct.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't have much work here at the airport, but I still worked for 3 months, $18 an hour.
So
That's
from
because-
75, $18.
Because it's a smaller aircraft.
Okay.
And they don't have everyday flying. We don't have forest fires here.
Right. Yeah. Maryland doesn't have
I was
fires.
overqualified for what I have,
Yes.
license and everything, which was not required here in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I had to take care of my son and everything. I said, okay, we'll start my own business, and I ended up coming by taxi to Ellicott City and came to Oella one day and saw my small business country store on sale.
Yes.
So I was lucky enough to buy that and started my own business.
What drew you to Oella?
Oella was a unique, windy roads, very
Very
old-fashioned, like
beautiful.
West Virginia, mountain hills,
Very beautiful,
nice,
yeah.
beautiful river. Like a city is a historical area.
By the viewers, the river that we have behind us, Patasco River, we're in Oella area. Very beautiful.
Right close to the textile mill.
Yes.
We have a slaughterhouse up the road. I'm on top of the hill where Oella is based. It's a nice hillbilly road because there's no water and sewage in a town that time, in a village.
Hmm.
So we had outhouses. And that
So when you came, people were using
outhouse is outside and a water pump.
which in Africa and I believe in India, those are like
Yes.
the
Same thing.
what do you call that? They have a name. I know some in Africa they will say, in my village they call them "give me a second." You know, like they are built outside
Right.
the house, and it takes a while before
Yeah.
you do your stuff.
While the doors are opening, it's a half moon door. When you sit in a toilet, you can see
when you're
somebody is
inside-
occupied. You cannot lock the door. You got to keep it. Make sure people can see you. It's open. Not like nowadays, modern.
Wow.
You lock the door and
And
have
this
a
was not
ventilation and all that.
this was not too far.
No.
I mean, this was not too long
87.
ago. This is 87.
Yeah.
87. 87,
So
that's less than 40 years ago. Yeah.
I felt like this is a good place for me. It reminds me from India to Uganda
No
to
plumbing, no running
Singapore.
water. I mean, you had to use the bathroom outside.
Right.
Wow.
Outhouses.
Outhouses.
That's what we call. We have it now as a souvenir. People keep it for the history to keep their tools in there.
Hey, let me know how you call them in your from wherever you're watching. Let me know what you call the bathroom and the toilet outside. Here we call them half moon. You say half moon houses?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't have a door. I find that very funny.
Outhouses. Yeah. No lock. Door is there, but it's not locked. So it was funny.
Yeah. Okay.
But I admired and I thought, oh, this one has got a potential.
So you didn't care about
No,
almost
I got-
almost the backwardness of the
I loved it because it's following me from India to
Yes, it reminded you
Uganda
from where you
to
came
Singapore,
from. Yes.
and now finally come to United States, and we have the same thing in Baltimore. I never expected that.
When you told me, I mean, when I had that, I didn't. I was like, I didn't
yeah.
expect that, especially in the 80s.
No, 87.
Yes.
In 64, we go to the moon and come back. You know, with the rocket
Right.
landing.
And
but
people are
no
still
water and
no
sewage
plumbing.
here.
Yeah.
So it was, but
Interesting.
my vision was great, and I knew one day we were gonna get the water and sewage, and this whole small village is gonna progress. Potential is there, a lot of
So
potential.
you kind of
Forecast the future
yeah,
for the
you're more visionary. So
Right.
you saw what lies ahead, the potential. Yeah.
people need food, people need to wash their clothes. They have to come next to me because we had water and
Yes.
sewage.
Yes.
So we had a laundromat. People from here come all the way to my place
Mm.
at the country store. 'Cause
Right.
My water comes from Catonsville.
Right.
And it stops right there. After that, further down is all outhouses and
Mm.
pump. But it was fun. And finally, 40 good years gone by since then. We have done a lot of progress in our little town.
You mobilize the leadership.
Right.
Yes.
And
Can you just take us through some of that experience at that time? Because it takes a lot to, one, change the mindset of the people, and then also the network that I believe you did working with the local, whether it's a local government or just the leaders within the
so
area.
when I came in 83, we had a lot of hillbillies. We have drugs and other stuff, beer bottles everywhere. It was like Baltimore City, actually, from
That small
83,
village there?
83 to 87. People were crazy. The boys and everything, drugs going on. Afraid to come to our
Right.
little village because of all these other things going on. Besides, we don't have water and sewage was another issue.
Mm.
People don't like to come and check us out or visit. So I took a chance, but it took a while to join local Greater Oella Community Association, which I'm
Yes.
the president since 1998.
Since 98, you're the president of the...
98, yeah.
Yes.
Elected president. We have every year election.
And since
And we
98,
are,
they've been electing you. So that means there's something that you're doing that's working.
well, we fixed the community center, which is an old school building which was falling apart. We tried to moderate again, and it's working good now. It's already up to the standard of
Right,
modern.
right.
No asbestos, hardwood floor. We have a central air conditioning. We have a daycare for 162 kids over there. And then weekend we have churches
Beautiful, yeah.
and private parties. So we manage. We renting it from Baltimore County for $1 per year for 100 years lease. But we will keep it and carry on.
Yes, yes.
The next thing we happened was 2004. Textile mill
Yes.
was falling apart. One developer came and converted that into 144 apartments. It was done in 2008, and
so all this progress and developments are under your
fixing
leadership.
back
Yes.
to,
Yes.
well, I'm part of it. We have a board members.
Yeah, there's a
we have a
team that you're
meeting,
working
and
with. Yeah.
we work together with the county governments, state level, zoning board. We go through all the process, whatever we have to do. I had to organize all the meetings and everything, which was fun. We got succeeded in getting done. In 95 also we have Benjamin Banneker Museum.
Yes.
He was the first free slave and a scientist. He made his own wooden clock. He was a farmer. He died at the early age, between 35 and 40 years, a young man.
Young.
He also designed and helped Washington, D.C. Capitol for the street marks and drawing architecture. Marking, it was done by Benjamin Banneker.
Yeah. Okay.
It was started by French architect, but didn't work out, didn't finish it properly.
Right.
Fortunately, Benjamin Banneker did the work, and he did it. So we are proud of him to be in our little town and born and raised here. So we have a nice structure, Benjamin Banneker Museum.
It's a beautiful park that you have there.
Yes. And it's a recreation and park, and it's free for the public in the neighborhood to come and attend. A lot of good activities going on, a lot of birds going. We have 240 acres of land. Sorry, 140 acres of land.
That's
the
quite
horse farm after that on a Frederick Road,
Yes.
which is right here on this road,
Yeah.
has got 220 acres of land, which takes care of the equestrian horses which are sick or mentally not fit.
Okay.
We save that and keep it as an open space, so it works out perfect for us. It's a lot of good things in the neighborhood in a small little village with a population of 3,500 mostly.
Wow, it's quite a tight community.
Yeah. And we do lots of good other activities every year. We have an Easter egg hunt, to 4th of July parade, to benefit ball dance, dinners for fundraising. We do Christmas Eve, Christmas parties. We have summertime cookout in August.
If you can permit me, sorry, if I can take you back, how did you learn to that position that you are now able to? Because you're almost like a freshman from India, not really freshman, in the village, Oella village.
Right.
And I'm assuming when you moved there, not so many people knew who you were.
No.
How did you build that
just
network?
like a foreigner, immigrant.
Yes,
Get
you're
out
just
from
an
here.
immigrant. You just land.
Don't come here. You are not wanted.
Yeah. So I'm sure viewers and they would want to know. So how did you move from this young man from India who's not
Well, the goal was to make the unity between the families and communities. So I started with a good project of having Christmas parties because they used to have one time before the textile mill,
Yeah.
which was stopped after the Agnes came in 72. A lot of floods in Ellicott City. Textile mill was shut down, so all the activities in the neighborhood was
They were all stagnant.
freeze,
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I came here in 83, and then in 98, in between, the same association was there anyway. I thought I should continue and help them and make
Right.
a lot of different activities
Right.
to bring the families together, give them something to do, and that will help.
So
And
they'll.
that's exactly what happened. And now everybody's looking forward. Whenever the time comes, they look forward for the
Wow.
cookout, they look forward for the Christmas parties, they look out for the Halloween and the dinner and dance
Right.
parties in springtime.
Hmm.
4th of July is a very good parade and more than 5,000 people attend in Cadenceville.
Right.
We take part in it and we make our own fruit. We have
Beautiful.
never lost the competition in my last 25 years in the decoration. That's
Beautiful.
because all the kids in the neighborhood helps me.
Yes.
And the business people also donate money, funding. We have a cookout, hamburgers and hot dogs. We have a beautiful slaughterhouse, fresh meat from Truitt's.
Yes.
And they help the community also. Donate a lot of their hamburgers and hot dogs during our summer cookout. So we're working as a team, and that's why it's becoming more closer and closer.
So you
I
build
make
that. You
Oella.
actually build that community. It was
I
already there, but you helped to revive it, so to say.
we don't have any fees or dues collecting from anybody, so you can ask how we survive and how we function
Right.
the whole unit.
How do you run it? You know.
When I started, it was in '98. We had $420 in the bank balance. That's not gonna help me. So I made a calendar for Oella
Yeah.
with the local business advertisement. In the first year, it was 2,000 calendars we printed out in black and white,
Right.
which cost me $1 for printout in those days in '98.
Yeah.
But it generated me $5,000. So I made $3,000 instantly without any selling or doing anything.
Right.
Local advertisement.
Stories. I want to hear from you, and please don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
But before you go, there
Yes.
are two stories I don't want to miss out.
Okay.
And one of them is the challenges that I know you had when you're starting the shop.
Correct.
A couple of times, I know, especially when you're moving there, going by the Baltimore Sun and articles that have been written about the attack that you had there. Please take us to that moment.
Well, it was back and forth since '83. We didn't have water and sewage, and all these kids were breaking and entering and doing drugs and alcohol. So it was the worst kind of people and group here at that time.
Yes.
I had to take a challenge to survive since I signed contract for 5 years and furthermore 5 years for this store, and I thought I can do something better with mixing up with them and try to convert them into a different angle.
Yes.
So we started calling the citizen on patrol watch on a motorbike. The police from Baltimore and federal government helped me out a lot to break it up during the daytime. We come at nighttime with a paddy wagon and break the group of people.
Yes.
It took us almost like 4 to 5 years to break up the whole gang from Eastern Avenue to Baltimore City area. Another group, they used to come here because it was a hidden, unknown, small little town where the police cannot come and run. Howard County police cannot come here. Baltimore County cannot go to Howard County. We are on the border.
Right.
But we changed all the rules and regulation afterwards, and both police departments now can go
They
back
work
and forth.
together, yeah.
So it took a while before they broke into my shops a couple of times. They broke the windows and also cut the water line pipelines at my laundromat.
Hmm.
But I survived. I never quit. And then in 1992, some group of 3 people came in the store on December 11, 1992. 2 of them came in and said, "Where is the nearest post office?" And he was porting me out, and I told him it was a foggy, snow, icy day. So why don't you wait for a while? Maybe my Sunpepper delivery guy can guide you and drop you
Yes,
off
yes,
because it's the bad weather.
yes.
Since you're going to post office. Here I'm thinking positive that they might want to
Because you're
do
genuine. I
some
mean, yeah,
shipment for
yes.
the Christmas to their families or box something. December 11th was
Excuse me.
only
Yeah.
2 weeks away from the Christmas. I happened to be in downtown Baltimore that morning also and bought a lot of crayons and drawing books for my Christmas party for the community
Right.
on December 19th, which was still sitting in my trunk. And that Friday afternoon, something stupid happened. They left and then they came back.
Hmm.
After all my customers left at 12:15, 12:30. There were 7 customers before when they came in.
Yeah.
Oh, we are back again here. I need to buy a candy bar before we walk to the post office. And as soon as I rang it up, they said, "Oh, this is an armed robbery. Leave the cash register open."
Hmm.
I said, "Okay, take the money and run," but they didn't want that. They wanted more money, of course, and they had the gun with them, both of them. And the
Wow.
guy who really had a gun was in the left hand.
Hmm.
He was a lefty holding the gun.
Yes.
And I'm here, and my right hand is here. So I said, "Don't need to click or shoot me. Take the money and go." But he wanted more money. And when he started doing that, I was crazy enough. I shouldn't have done that, but hit that arm and he dropped the gun, and I was going to grab the same gun to get it to him. But
Hmm.
the other guy who was at the door watching
Yes.
somebody coming going, he hit me on the head from the metal part and knocked me down. Dragged me out, both of them, and have 3 bullets. One escaped, of course.
They shot you?
Yeah, behind the cash register, but it just slipped away. That went in the wall. That's fine. The second one was here on the floor, choking my mouth on the main artery, and the third
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
right
Hmm.
in the mouth in the bullet, which ended up in the jaw here, sitting.
So those are 3 bullets. One went.
So
Yeah.
one went away. The other one was sitting there,
Right.
and third one was sitting here. But this one eventually traveled to the stomach, which I vomited out in hospital at around 4 o'clock, I think, because all the blood was going in since that shooting,
Wow.
and it just puking. It was in a bucket, and they captured it, so there was an evidence. And I was taken to the shock trauma. In the meantime, I called the police before that.
Hmm.
I went out running after them after
They
my
just shot
shooting.
you, and you went out following after them.
Right.
Were you
I
not
took
bleeding?
the butcher,
Yeah.
and I was bleeding badly. It was like a fountain.
And you're conscious.
Fountain coming. Yeah, something happened, lightning strike on my head. He said, "Get up and run, you got power." I said, "Okay." Let me get the nice butcher and run after him, which I did. Went up to the church next to the store.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't run fast enough. They were in the red car, both doors were open, they were taking off. It was slippery and icy, but they were still running. At that time, the only thing I had lucky enough to read the tag number.
In your condition.
Yes, I come back to the store, dial 911, and the telephone that time was with the cups.
Yes.
All the blood was going in. They couldn't understand me, so I had to talk, putting the phone upside down. so the blood can come out here. Explained to them that I was shot, and this is what happened. This is the tag number. And the color of the car is red. That was it. I hung up the phone, called my wife. Colonel called the landlord.
And all these numbers are in memory.
Yes. Called my wife. Of course, that time memory, not like the cell phone nowadays.
Yeah, because that is, I mean,
it's spoiling your memory power.
Exactly.
Them machines got the power now.
Right.
Anyway, she came before even the ambulance was there, so that was a good thing. Ambulance came, they checked, they wanted to see who I was, wanted to see the driver's license, which is fine. I gave them my wallet. We took off to the long road here this way, went to Oella City and then to Shaktrama because of the road conditions.
Yes.
By 2 o'clock, those guys were captured at the Wilkins. They were standing on the line outside.
Right.
With the red car, same tag numbers. The police did their job. They came back to the
So they were caught the
Shaktrama.
same night?
Same day, same afternoon, after 2 hours.
Wow.
Not even 2.
That's very effective, yeah.
Police want to hear from me at the same time in the Shaktrama, what they were wearing, what they were looking. I said they had a hoodie on, they were black and
so all this time,
outfit.
You know, you have bullets in you, you're bleeding. Or now they've, you know, like the bleeding has stopped?
No, the bleeding was still continuing. They stopped at 9 o'clock after it wasn't running that much, so they stopped temporarily, slowly. He was recovering, putting the head up, and one thing good, I was still conscious that time.
That's a miracle.
And
that's just a miracle.
Yes. I was still talking and responding. In the meantime, my wife and son came from the school, sister-in-law. They were all at the Shaktrama. Luckily, one of my doctors also was from Tanzania, Amin, but Indian Amin, not Idi Amini. He was there in the heart specialist, and I was lucky enough to have him also. He saw me. He stayed there for the entire period. At 9 o'clock, they did the operation and switched over the bullet they blocked it with the U-tube, some kind of metal tube.
Right.
And put it together for me here so it doesn't stop bleeding. Went to sleep after that, and next morning, 8 o'clock, they said, you are free to go home.
So you're there only for that night?
That is it. I asked for water and something to drink because my mouth was getting dry. They say, no need to, you are going home right now. Your wife is coming down to pick you up.
They didn't think it was observation, you know, to keep you for that, or you didn't need it?
They thought I don't need it.
Wow. This is a miracle. This is a miracle.
Yep. So this wasn't enough, but now we had to take care of the thing. I was at the store next day morning, 9 o'clock.
You're back to the store?
Yeah, right in the parking lot. Greeting to everybody, make sure we tell them.
You are resilient.
From Idi Amini.
You are resilient.
To Singapore with the aircraft, with the running out of fuel and no undercarriage.
What pushed you to go to the shop? I mean, you've just been shot, and common sense would tell me, hey, you need to take a break.
Yeah, I went to Giant to get my prescription, extra strength Tylenol, whatever they wanted me to take for a couple of days to bring the swelling down and relax and chill.
Yeah.
Bring the pain out of the way. But I told my wife, let's go to the store, swing by.
Say hello to people.
Yeah.
So by this time, when they heard of your new... Yeah.
Because of their prayers saying hard.
I'm sure people are praying for you very hard.
Yes.
Yes.
But I was lucky enough, so I had to pray back for them too. So went home and on the 19th, the Christmas party was cancelled by my association. And I said, no, we're going to carry on doing right in front of the store.
And this is because they heard that you've been shot?
Right. Well, they announced one time at 2 o'clock that I was going to be dead or gone. So
Over the Radio,
at
TV,
the
or
shock trauma.
at the shock trauma?
But other than that, I'm doing fine after that. It's been 30 years gone by since that day.
This is a miracle. This is a
year-
miracle.
This year, December 11, 1990, 2022, from 92 is going to be 30 straight years.
This is a miracle. No pain, no complication.
Somebody
God
up
has
there
been
is,
taking care of you
somebody up there is taking care of me.
because your assignment is still has to be completed.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So you come back and you had to continue the program that you already set, which was the Christmas event.
Yes.
Yeah, the Christmas event. And if I remember, one of the articles was that they had already announced over some news outlets that you might not make it.
That was on the same day, the day I was shot, December 11.
So
around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
right.
But they were fast enough to stop the bleeding and other stuff. So.
Right. I guess my question was because when you came out from the hospital, came straight to the shop, were you feeding on the strength? Of course, we know God was taking care of you, but then were you feeding from the strength of the community?
Yes. That gave me extra boost from the people, encouragement for me to look forward. That I'm going to make it. I'm going to overcome with this terrible incident.
Right.
And everybody was still praying. It was in the news for 7 days all around the world.
Right.
CNN, BBC News.
BBC.
People in England, my parents found out from the TV news. So it was funny. They called me and I said, look, I'm at home, relaxing and doing fine.
So what they had and over the news and you talking to them was what? That's just a pure miracle.
Right. Friends from Singapore called me. Okay, that's you. I say, yeah, but I'm doing fine. I'm back to normal. That's the way it goes. And even now I feel great. I don't have any side effects or anything.
Wow. Very quickly before I let you go.
Yeah.
Just maybe 3 or 4 questions.
Sure.
For those of us, I believe there are people who are watching who maybe are involved in community organization or maybe they're involved in some form of leadership or the other. What's your advice if somebody wants to, because your impact within Oella is very evident. There is nobody who doesn't know you there. Everyone, I remember the time that I was at your store, the old, the young, I'm telling you, they keep coming in there. And I saw these pictures and postcards and get well wishes all there. So that tells me that your impact in that community cannot be ignored. For somebody who is aspiring to make a difference in their community, what are your words of advice?
Well, the best thing to do is to get involved with the families and community.
Right.
Find out what is the issues, why are they not going to school, or why are they not behaving properly like the way they should, or dress up nicely, or obey the rules and regulation of the Baltimore City, Baltimore County Police, whatever, or respect to the parents and the neighbors. In order to do all these things, I had to create something to keep them occupied and get united.
So you have to be integrated with the community.
Only way to do it is to have some kind of good activities, like Easter egg hunts and make them happy from the childhood.
Right.
4th of July parade helps them and say, oh, I was in the parade 10 years ago, and now my kid's going to join, so they remember the past.
Right.
So it's a positive way of looking for them and me and the future. And the main thing is no selfishness here. Whether they buy something from my store or not, that's not important.
Right.
Give them the right guidance. If they skip the school, take them and drop them off to the school with the parents' permission. Bring all the adults together. We have some kind of theme to do dinner and dance once in a while for fundraising. Do gardening, plant some flowers and trees.
So you keep them engaged.
Right. Everybody is different interests. Some people are artists, they want to take part in my 4th of July drawings. Some people want to do gardening, so they come to do that.
Hmm.
But overall, everybody's trying to do something together and help each other.
So maybe another question is, you deal with people every day,
Correct.
and all sorts of people. In your journey of leadership, what are in your opinion, what is the most difficult problem that you've had to solve within the community, and what were some of the challenges that you are dealing with the people to solve that problem?
Well, sometimes the challenge is I have a major one is when there is a new progress going on. Thing
Yeah,
for me.
that's very
But
interesting.
my vision was great, and I knew one day we were going to get real development to
Yes.
145 apartments.
Mm.
The zoning people and county people and the community, everybody don't want to approve that kind of project because
Right.
of extra traffic, extra population draws and makes this life
Yes.
uncomfortable for the locals.
Mm.
But we also had to think, I had to think also, the developer has to, we had to preserve the history of the textile mill.
Yes.
That's our main
That's a
agenda in
historic, yeah,
our
because that's a historic landmark.
bylaws in
Yes.
our
Yes.
association. And protect to make 145 apartments in the mill which was deteriorating.
Yes.
It's been doing great since 2008 now. It's fully booked.
It's already fully booked.
It's been booked from the day one, and people are behaving. People are working from home, COVID or no COVID. Before that also saves them traffic going up.
Yes.
Everybody's happy now. So this kind of challenge is you have to go through with the public and listen to their voices also,
Hmm.
and make sure we make some kind of decision to help them out in a different way. Like if they want 200 apartments or 180, we say no, let's go for 140, 145
Right.
to bring the condensed out, community enough impact for the parking issue and other stuff.
Mm.
And finally, we got it approved. It took 4 years, but now
There's
everybody
been
seems to
progress.
be
Yeah.
happy.
Yes.
And the reason they're happy is because we maintain the same level of our portfolio for the pricing of the neighborhood housing.
Hmm.
Never drop, even after the mills shut down and all. That's called progress. That's called going upward, going in the 21st
So
century.
life has still been, in terms of housing, a little bit affordable for the people who are there.
Right. They don't want to move out. They don't want to go there, but
Oella is
it's
beautiful.
developed.
It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful area. One more question for you. If you look at things today, and maybe because this is after 40 years since you came, is there anything that you'd change? Is there anything that you'd make different if you had that? You're still in leadership. What would you want to make? Um, what would you go back and say, I wish I did this one different?
I think most of the stuff is following up very nicely, starting from all the progress what we have done since 87 and up, since the
Right.
water and sewage came.
Right.
The school building is fixed. Westchester Community Center. We have a nice playground, lacrosse game. We got new turtlots. Oella Mill is developed and done. And now museum is over with that,
Yes.
plus the horse farm. Not too many things left, but we have one more project to finish here. Is
And
Ellicott
it's a
Mill,
major project.
right across from the Trolley Stop restaurant,
Mhm.
which was a flour mill, and
Right.
they've been there for 200 plus years.
Yes.
So that is coming up soon for hearing, and June 16th and 17th, we should know the outcome of that. That is going to be the next challenge
How
for
many units
me
are you
and the
planning to set up
community
there?
association. They want 190
Wow.
in that place, and we'll see how they're going to present themselves to the county zoning, and
Right.
let's see how the judges decide to get it approved.
Wonderful.
Hopefully it will be done. If it's done, there'll be more business for Ellicott City and bring some kind of different vibrant group. It'll be a better thing for the neighborhood, upscale
Right.
town degree, bring some real different population in the neighborhood, some new progress.
Well, that's economic boost also for the
Correct.
area and income
It
too.
helps for
Yes.
Baltimore County because it falls on our county. It doesn't have to do anything with Howard County.
The mill falls on the county.
Baltimore County.
The Ellicott City, we call it Ellicott City Mill.
Because it was done by Ellicott Mill brothers when they
Right.
came to
Yeah,
build
1707. That's when they came in here and they
Yes.
changed the city to.
Correct.
They named the city to Ellicott City.
Correct. Ellicott
Wonderful.
brothers.
Yeah, from PA. Yeah. One other question, maybe final for you. Looking at the things that you've shared and just listening to your story, that escaping Idi Amin's torture and challenges there, moving to Malaysia, then Singapore. When you look at the things that you have overcome in life, out of them all, what is your greatest that you'd say, hey, this one, I know you've been short, and what's your greatest challenge that you'd say, this was a very challenging moment in my life? And then how did you overcome it?
Well, it's a long time here in 40 years in Oella,
Yes.
and I decided to stay here and made my final destination like my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to jump around any longer than what I had to, from India to Uganda
Right.
to Singapore, which
Right.
is 10 years in India, 10 years in Uganda, 10 years in Singapore. But the rest of the time is right here. 40
Right.
years, so that's 72.
Wow.
That's where I am now. But
72 years?
no point of me.
You don't look 72. You need to give us tips of what you've been eating and doing.
I maintain everything in a proper direction.
Right.
Don't overdo it. Mainly the fresh vegetables and fruits
Yes.
and cilantro, mangoes. Was brought up that way in Uganda, in India also, and in Singapore, tropical countries.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of fruits and vegetables over there too, so I like that. Plus, we have a holy cow, the fresh slaughterhouse, fresh meat from the
Right.
truids,
Right.
which is protein, and you can have the J burgers once in a while. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We call J burger
J
because that's
burgers,
my
right.
famous.
I know
things.
that's. I've had J burgers when we came in with my
Right.
friends.
Good.
By
Yes,
the, whenever you're within Oella, you need to drop in by a county corner store. He does some amazing, powerful J burgers. Yeah.
Well, it's fresh meat, fresh cows. from
Fresh
there.
meat.
That's what it is.
Right.
I won't say the word holy cow, but they are cows from America, so they are
They're almost holy.
they are U.S. cows. We don't import cows from India.
Uh,
Don't worry about that.
So, we were talking about the greatest challenge. We're almost done here. What was it when you said by not stop moving? Maybe is that one of the things that you would say? Yeah.
Life in a challenges is always there for any time.
Right.
It doesn't stop.
Right.
It's just like the weather. In the winter comes, all the leaves falls off. Summer comes, spring comes, and it grows back again and looks good.
Yes.
It's the same way in a human life. It comes and goes. So
Right.
you don't have to worry too much about that. Just like COVID-19 came, there was a flu in Spanish 200 years ago.
Yes.
We humans have overcome this over the time of period, over and over
Yes.
and over.
Yes. Yes.
I prefer everybody to look positively,
Mm-hmm.
think positive, and do positive things.
Be positive.
Yeah, don't look negative,
Neg-
don't think craziness, and don't overdo it, whatever you're doing. exercise in moderation, eating in moderation,
Why don't you look into the
in,
camera and just
drinking
let our
in
viewers know?
moderation.
Yes.
Everything is in moderation in the life. Is great because if you don't, it's like the waves in the ocean. They come to the seashore and then they have their limits, they go back. Remember?
Mhm.
If they cross that limit, it's desire. It destroys the whole beach area, the beach houses and everything. Even they, naturally, nature has given their borders to go back and come down. So, we humans have to learn the nature's gift, what they have given to them. Same, everything in
In
moderation,
moderation.
in limit, life will be great. Enjoy as long as you can. Other than that, I don't have any much to say. I want
Appreciate it.
everybody to live in peace and
Yes.
enjoy the life and do good things in the life. I think we'll be okay. Everybody will be fine.
Wonderful.
God bless you, everyone, and have a good one.
Thank you. Please subscribe. Thank you so much,
You're
Mr. J, for
welcome.
your time. I really appreciate
Bye.
it. Yeah, and
Asante sana.
Asante.
Hakuna
Subscribe,
matata.
leave a comment. Akuna Matata.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, this did come.
Like a textile mill development,
Yes.
245 apartments.